Having runtime agility in your executing processes means that not only can you avoid inflexible and rigid automation, but that your processes are able to respond to the day-to-day business exceptions that can occur despite the best planning. As you can see here, we have a currently running version of my invoice processing application, currently on the second step of the business process. Now, over the course of your deployment, you may have needs for process improvement or to make changes to your processes that reflect the latest in regulatory guidelines. Dealing with this in AgilePoint is as simple as can be. So first, let's find that running instance. So as you're seeing here, I've got into the Manage Center and into Runtime Management. And now I'm simply going to find that running instance. So I've found my application. I want to filter it down to just those that are running, and then we'll search. Okay, so here's our running instance. As you can see here, we're currently on version 1.04. But in this scenario where we want to migrate to a newer version of the application, we want to do so without losing any of the business data that's been captured thus far. So let's show you how we do that. Now, the first step in migrating a running application is deposit so that no additional business data is entered prior to the upgrade. So as you can see here, we're now in a suspended state, which means that my button to migrate becomes enabled. So as you can see here, the current running version is 1.04, and we have a newer version that was published just earlier today. Now what you're seeing here on screen is a differences list showing me all of the differences between the two versions of the application. If I were to go to all differences here, I'm not going to see any because there are no differences between these versions of the application. But here you might see differences in process, in forms, data model, access tokens, or many other application attributes. So once I've validated the changes, I can simply click Migrate here to move this version of the application up to the latest version. Now, if this was something that I wanted to do in bulk, you'll notice here I have the option to save an instruction file. This would enable me to perform this migration once and then apply it in bulk across all of the versions in my determined scope. So now that we've showed you how to migrate a live instance of an application from one version to another, let's show you a few of the other day-to-day managerial features that will be handy as you grow your usage of AgilePoint. The next scenario involves overriding the default process flow. Now, there are a number of ways to do that in AgilePoint, and what I'm about to show you is the manual method of overriding the process execution. Now, in this scenario, being an invoice processing use case, our scenario might be perhaps it's close to the end of the month, we have to close the books, and we don't have enough time for the entire process to run its course. So in this scenario, we want an abbreviated approval path that will enable us to close the books on time. So with that being said, you'll see here I have a button called Change Flow. Now, if I have the specific permission level, I can override the default process behavior. By that I mean skip forward to any future step in my process, or roll back to any previous step in the workflow. So the way I would do that is I would select the current activity and then where I would like my workflow to go. Now in this case here, I've jumped forward. I could always roll back my process. If I have two active steps, I can merge them to a single active step. Or conversely, I can split them to two active steps. In any case, AgilePoint gives me full control over how I need this workflow instance to execute. And just for example's sake, right here you're seeing the merging of two activities as well as rolling it back to a prior step in the process. This concludes the content for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time.